Hi everyone! Welcome to today's video where I will be talking about my hiring process with Amazon. So this is not a yoga video, hence the shirt. This is actually my lucky shirt for interviews. Educational background. I studied mechanical engineering in my bachelor's at the Technical University of Munich, and I did my master's in mechanical engineering and management again at the Technical University of Munich. So engineer made in Germany, and this process was also for a fulfillment center or a warehouse of Amazon in Germany, and the position was graduate area or shift manager or let me just check, operations manager, and there are also different programs, junior managers, and this means the same for Germany basically. My process at Amazon, I never thought about applying there because being a manager there didn't really interest me as I studied mechanical engineering, but somehow the LinkedIn algorithm probably thought because of the management thing in my master's that I would be suitable for this position. So 3 or I think 4 different recruiters approached me via LinkedIn, and I ignored them for the first 2 or 3 times, but at the 4th time I had many rejections that day, so I decided, okay, I'm gonna go along with this process. I applied over Amazon's job platform. It's not the same as your normal Amazon account, you have to open a new one, but I didn't have to write motivational letter or something like that. I just uploaded my resume and then waited for them to respond. They went through my resume and thought, okay, and then I got the interviewing part, and the weirdest thing happened. I had a HireVue interview where I didn't get to talk to people. I just needed to record a video of myself at a given time and then answer some of their questions with a video over 3 minutes, and it was like the scariest, weirdest interview I ever done. I pushed it as much as I can. I had like 5 days to finish it, and it was, I think, on a Saturday evening around 9 p.m. that I did the interview. Like I had like 12 hours left to do, so I was like, okay, I just got to through this. So in HireVue, I downloaded the app in my tablet. So you need a good camera, good lighting, and everything. And they actually give you some prep questions, so you would be able to test the recording. But the weirdest thing is that my camera was here, and my image was there. So every time I looked at myself to, check the movements in my face, I was looking at that direction and the camera was there, so it was like weird talking to a different person kind of thing. And then I had to cover my tablet and I'll try to really look into this small tiny camera. It was a bit difficult, and the questions were so difficult. I got like 30 seconds to prep and then 3 minutes to answer to a camera, looking at myself, trying not to look at myself. It was kind of weird. And also, like, it was kind of a normal HR interview. After their prepping rounds, I had like half an hour prep. I didn't really know what to expect from this video recording interview kind of thing. They will not hopefully process it with AI and get my facial image or something like that. It was also written in the conditions. So, very glad. I hope they will delete it. Not my best interview probably. And they had like some written questions, the first 3 or 4, where I went to university, can I speak German, how good are my English skills. And the HireVue interview was actually almost all in English. And just in between I needed to answer 1 question in German. They were testing my German basically. And it was done. They had like 4 questions. I can actually give some examples from them. Let me check my notebook. Here is my interviewing notebook. Where is Amazon? And the questions during the HireVue interview thing weren't that difficult. They asked me like, why Amazon, why me, or why do I want this job, why I'm a good candidate for it, stuff like that. Pretty straightforward. And the weird thing about Amazon is the STAR method. They need you to explain everything with the STAR method, which stands for S for situation, T for task, A for action, R for results. STAR. Situation, task, action, results. And you need to explain everything in a story, explaining the situation, your task in detail, and your actions and results. And preferably, the story needs to have a good result. I mean, it also needs to have a result. You cannot explain something that is not done, basically, and your story wouldn't be ended then. Before you go into anything from Amazon, just practice the STAR method. Try to explain some aspects in your life with this method. The most important thing is it was a managerial role. They were looking for shift or area manager. So the most important thing for that part is the Amazon's leadership principles. There are 14 of them. You can check them in Amazon's website if you're preparing for an Amazon interview. And after the HireVue digital weird Saturday interview thing, they got back to me on Monday telling me that I got to be in the last final round for this position. And they actually had a prepping interview for the job interview itself. It was via Amazon Chime. It's something like Zoom or Google Meet for Amazon only. I needed to install Amazon Chime, and they had this prep thing every Friday. You can join the meeting and then get some information about the interviewing process and what are you going to be preparing for that position. They had like a meetup thing. Lots of people from Germany joined in. That one was actually in German. All right. What else? Oh, the final round. I had the 3 times 30 minutes interview. One interview with one person for 30 minutes. And then the next one, 30 minutes. And then the next one, 30 minutes. 90 minutes in general. I could go like a break, like for 1 or 2 minutes. And first one, I talked to her about the job, and she was there for 5 or 6 years. Pretty nice conversation, and it was in German, the first interview. The second one was in English, switching between languages. They're checking your communication skills as well, because their job requires a lot of communication with different cities, countries, or just different people in the organization. And it was actually the second person was probably my boss or somewhere around that order, not very sure. And then we talked a little bit English. My connection went down, so I needed to switch to my phone. It was pretty bad. The switch, because it was raining outside, and I don't get a good reception inside, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And the third one, I actually got to rebuild my internet connection, got back to Chime, but the person didn't have a good connection, so we had to do it over the phone, which is not that practical. I think if you're speaking to a stranger, it's nice to just see a face. Anyways, the third interview was in German, and they asked me many questions about the Amazon's leadership principles, all of which I had to answer with START method. They asked me lots of questions during the interview, of course, and mostly about Amazon's leadership principles, 14 of them. I bet they asked me all of it. It was the most trying interview I had in my life. Believe me. And I had to answer everything with the STAR method. So I had to come up with a story about the results, and it needed to answer the questions, had a little part of the leadership principles, and had to have the structure of the STAR, explaining the situation, what I've done or what I would have do, what could I have done better. Task, of course, not to forget, SD, and then results, preferably something good. I mean, you want to sell yourself for the person, like you can do the job, you can get positive results. That's important in an interview. And it was very tiring because they didn't ask like one question, they asked like 4 or 5 questions in one principle. In kind of one question they asked me, like, considering leadership principles, I cannot recall all the questions, but one was like, in a situation where you were leading a group, what could have they told you about your weaknesses and how would you improve them? What would they tell you that, your biggest improvement potential is? And what were you doing in this leading position in a group? What was your job? Explain it and stuff like that. And it was like, I am recently graduated. I never had a group really. It was like university or student jobs, and they don't give you a group of people. Sorry, as a student, you don't get to lead a group of people via internship. So I had to come up with a story in my dormitory, and I actually talked about my yoga teaching class. It's leading a group, right? I mean, you need to come up with a good story. That's the most important thing. And it can be relevant to your thesis, internships, or stuff like that, but they ask you different kind of stuff that are not that related to your knowledge so far, because you're applying to a position where you don't actually have any experience, and it's also a graduate position. So it's like all of them are right out of university. What could they have done? So if you really want a job, I hope it helps. Prep yourself for HireVue to talk to your camera. And read all of the leadership skills, think about a story that you can explain with STAR method, and think about your life in general. I mean, I had to think about my high school, what I did in the clubs, or my university, tutoring, or my internships, what else, my 3 theses, and my time at the dormitory, my hobbies, myself as a person, every project I did at the university. They asked me so many questions that at the end I was like, oh, talk about the past 10 years of my life in about an hour. So it was very intense. I had like a red face, tomato face afterwards, and I was very tired. I needed food, drink, sleep, and everything, but it's very tiring. I also have some friends who work at Amazon. There are ups and downs, of course, as in many companies, really, it's a corporate job. But the payment is good, as far as I heard, and you can also move up the ladder because many people work at Amazon and it's growing as we speak. So, anyways, good luck with your interview. Hope you get the job. And keep rapping. Remember to smile. Positivity always helps. Take care. Good luck. Bye.